Five, four, three, two, one. Welcome, everybody. I'm Jason Hull, the owner and founder of DoorGrow, the world's leading and most comprehensive coaching and consulting firm for long-term residential property management entrepreneurs. For over a decade and a half, we have brought innovative strategies and optimization to the property management industry. We've talked to thousands of property managers, helped them add hundreds of doors, helped them increase profit, simplify operations, get themselves out of the business more and more. And we believe the good property managers can change the world. And that property management is the ultimate high trust gateway to real estate deals, relationships, and residual income. We are on a mission to transform property management business owners and their businesses. We want to transform the industry, eliminate the BS, build awareness, change perception, expand the market, and help the best property management entrepreneurs win. Now, let's get into the show. So my guest today is Ashleigh Goodchild. Welcome. She's the voice behind PM Collective, the art of property management. Together, we're going to explore what it really takes to build a property management career that you can enjoy, covering the balance between structured management and random leadership, how to create workplaces people actually want to stay in, and Ashleigh's vision for a more human, less transactional industry. So, Ashleigh, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
So let's give us a little bit of background on you for those that don't know you yet, that maybe you're listening. How did you get into entrepreneurism? How did you get into doing what you're doing now? Give us the backstory.
Yeah, so I started real estate back when I was 18, and like many people, just falling into it. And I was placed into an office that had a business owner. One was an air hostess and one was a pilot, and really had no idea of how to run the business. So at that age of 18 and not knowing any better, I just jumped straight into the business and started helping them quite a lot. And then as I went on in my career, I then started my business, SoCo Realty, when I was 23. So I've had that business for 20 years and I've had a very blessed property management and business ownership life. I do say, though, that when I was 23 and when I started the business, I don't think it would have mattered what I was doing. It wasn't actually about the property management. It was actually probably about business ownership that I was drawn to. And I think I always say, even if I was a hairdresser at 23, it would have been a hairdresser shop that I opened up, just happened to be working in property management. So I've been running that and I've had a very blessed property management life. I always feel a little bit guilty when people talk about the roller coaster of their property management businesses because I don't feel like I've had that. Or if I have, I sort of feel like maybe I just didn't sweat the small stuff. And so that led me into running and founding PM Collective, which was bringing in a peer-to-peer mentorship and training Australia-wide, where we run 200 coffee and conversations every year, and we really support each other in the industry just by that casual learning from each other.
That's awesome. So they're getting together, hanging out with each other, sharing ideas, and you're kind of the facilitator in this.
Yeah, we do it Australia-wide. We have loads of hosts around Australia, so other people like myself who want to give back. So it's a great opportunity for people to give back. We've actually run a couple over in the US as well, and we have just had one in New Zealand. So the idea is that it allows people in the industry who have been in for a long time, like I said, to give back to the industry and help the younger ones that are coming in to really learn to enjoy the career as well. So it's really great.
Yeah. It's amazing how much help is available and how willing people are to help. I'm reading a book right now by Simon Squibb, I believe is his name, something like that. And it's about like following your dream and having a dream. But he said he created an organization that, I guess over in the UK, but he created this organization that allowed people to either help fund people's dreams or for people to get their dreams, launched. And he said that they had way more people. He thought everybody would be wanting to get the dream and, their own dream met. He said they had way more people offering to help those that had a dream. And and he was talking about how much help is available. So there's so much help available out there. And a lot of times we just don't ask as entrepreneurs. There's this funny thing that when we start out as an entrepreneur, we've kind of come through this whole world where we're such a minority because most people on the planet are not entrepreneurial currently. And so we get a lot of feedback that we're weird or that we're different or that we're strange. And so we learn to kind of isolate. We start to recognize, oh, I'm different. And there isn't a lot of help or support, which is kind of an inaccurate viewpoint, but we kind of view ourselves as an island. And then we start our journey as an entrepreneur, and we usually think we're going to do it all ourselves. We're going to read the right books and watch YouTube videos, and we wear it as a badge of honor. I'm going to get this thing started and do it all alone. And that's, as I say at the end of my podcast, each episode, that's the slowest path to growth, is to do it alone.
I think as well, like we find that a lot of people are really great at their jobs. They're either, great property managers, great BDMs, and they have people around them that say, you're so good at what you do, you should go open up your own business. And I don't think people actually realize there is, it can be really hard to start your business. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got the logistics side of things, but you just assume the phone's going to keep calling and start calling as soon as you're out on your own. And I think that that's one of the biggest things that I see people underestimate. And
Yeah.
so to be able to give them that support and not be forced to sell their business because it's just got too stressful. I've got one of my clients where she had her own property management business when she was in her 20s, and she ended up selling it because it was just too much to handle at that age. She didn't have the support, 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And I remember her saying, I wish PM Collective was around because I wouldn't have sold my business. But now I can have the stamina for my business because I've got that support around me. So I think that that's where I'm seeing a really big gap. Definitely people who think, so people who are great at their job, which means that they think they're going to be great at business ownership, which is not always the case as well.
Yeah. There's a great book on that exact subject. It's called The E Myth. The E Myth Revisited. And in this, the E is entrepreneur. It's the entrepreneur myth. And basically the summary of the whole book is, if you've learned how to do the technician level work, like you have learned how to bake really great cakes, the myth is that now you think, well, I could go start a business and start a bakery making cakes. But a business involves a lot more. A business involves marketing, sales, accounting, a lot of different stuff that is outside the skill set of baking a cake. And so the same thing with property management. Some people are like, I've managed properties for a while, or I've done business development for a property management company, done sales for a while. And they think I could now go start a business doing this. And that's the technician level work. That's not the business ownership type of stuff. Then that's where things get a little more difficult. Yeah.
Read that book. It's actually a really great one for newbies in the business.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I love that. So how does the PM Collective work? How are you getting people together? How do you facilitate this? What does a typical meetup look like? How do you make these connections?
Yeah, so we very much just have hosts that reach out to us and they see a gap in their location, and then they have to give me 3 dates, times and locations, and I just set them up online for them. So it's relatively easy for the host. Everyone just rocks up. It's very, very casual. They grab their own coffee, they take a seat, and the host is there just to sort of welcome everyone and sort of facilitate it to a certain point. We have the groups, they can range anywhere in size between 4 people to 20 people. And to be honest, even the groups of 4 I find are so important because I find that the intimate conversations are so much stronger in those small groups and people really open up. And the conversation could be about anything. It could be about certain products that we're using. It might be about some subscriptions. It might be about what's, currently not working, what demos we've had, what problems we've had. And I find in that smaller group, people definitely open up a lot more and get that really good support that they need. Sometimes we chat on a personal level. Again, that comes down to people that are personally happy, I believe, make the best employees and the best employers. And it's really important that we look after people's personal state, and having those personal conversations and those opportunities to vent, I think, are incredibly important in that environment as well. And then we have a big mixture. So we've got some groups where we get a lot of BDMs come along, some where it's just the solopreneurs, some where it's the referring partners. They sort of just all find their own vibe. But one of the biggest things that has been really important is that consistency. So knowing for the public to know that we're going to show up every single month at this location and we're here if and when you need us. That consistency is really important. So really casual, you don't need to buy a ticket or anything like that. And I think that really what's made them successful though is that consistency.
Got it. So how does the PM Collective have the bandwidth to facilitate this? How do you guys make money? How does that work?
So we don't. We sort of run it as a bit of a not-for-profit, even though it's not
Okay.
registered as a not-for-profit. So the purpose is very much community-led learning. And I guess on a personal level, I run my own business, my own real estate business. So for me, that's my bread and butter. And this is really what's considered my passion project. So this is sort of more my legacy, I guess. And, I've got the time and the energy and the love to do it. So that's what I do. We have got great sponsors who help support our podcast and cover the cost for the membership and things like that. And we've got a membership base, which would be, say, I guess on the smaller medium size. And over time that will grow. But for now, the support is really where it's at. And we're driven by that with no need for any strong monetary value coming through at the moment. That might change in 10 years, but for now and for the last 5 years, it's been perfect.
Well, I mean, it sounds like the people that are really giving to this community, like yourself, probably have some of the healthiest businesses, because the people that are in over their head don't have time to go hang out or go to lunch
No,
or to meet up with people. And so, that allows people to come in that maybe are struggling to meet and hang out with people that are in a healthier place and kind of lend them a hand up, right? So,
it's interesting because in Australia, we've got what we call CPD points. I don't know if you've got them, where they're like compulsory development points that you've got to do to hold your registration.
okay.
And our events, they are not CPD registered, which means that people don't come along because they are coming because they just have to be registered and
Yeah.
they just have to do so many points. They come because they actually want to come along. And I think you'll find that that has made a massive difference with the vibe. Like we had an event the other night because we sort of run the separate events as well. And, everyone comes along, they're catching up, they haven't seen each other for a couple of months, and it really feels like someone's birthday party. But the important thing is that people are there because they want to, not because they're going to get a CPD point attached to it. And you really can feel that difference in the vibe.
Got it. Okay. Well, I'm going to do a quick word from our sponsors. This will be relevant. If you are a property management business owner, you're tired of getting tangled up in numbers, ARS SmartBooks has your back. They specialize in property bookkeeping for small to mid-sized managers who'd rather focus on, managing. So with over 15 years of experience in real estate accounting, they're pros in Appfolio, Yardi, and all the top property software. Trust them to make your monthly reports hassle-free so you can get back to what really matters, running your business. Head over to krsbooks.com to book your free discovery call. And so maybe that'll help you have a little more time to get back to the property management community. All right. So back to what we were talking about, Ashleigh. I love this idea. I love that you've facilitated this vehicle for everybody to get together. You resonate positivity, and I'm sure that kind of sets the tone for the group that people are kind of attracted to. And I've been a part of groups where the leaders are very positive, and it's just a different category and group of people. There's a lot of people that are helpful, positive. I'm in masterminds like that. And then there's others where the leader is more kind of like a dictator, cult leader, and like it's just a very different environment. And there's a lot of guilt and a lot of shame and stuff like this, right? And I've been in some men's programs and things like that were like that. And it's just, it's a totally different environment. So you've created, and so this is really, I think, a strong testament to you. How many people are involved in this throughout Australia and beyond?
Should know the answer to that, and I don't. And I would probably say there would be around 20 hosts around
Wow.
Australia.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
20 people. We have started having visionary leaders in each state to help sort of help me control the states. But yeah, about 20 hosts. But then, like, I've got, for example, an audio summit coming up, and that's got 17 leaders in Australia doing a audio summit for me. And we're doing 17 days of tips and tricks. So there is a lot of people that make up all of this, a lot of other coaches and trainers that give their time and their knowledge as well to it. So it really is a big project. In total, I'd say there's probably about a good 40, 50 people from coaches, trainers, leaders who facilitate some sort of knowledge base for me, all these events. So pretty lucky.
So describe to me the difference between structured management and random leadership.
Yeah, so that's something that I practice inside my real estate at SoCo. And one thing that I've learned from other people and other leaders is when we do, like obviously you need structured management, in terms of processes and procedures and all of that. And that's fine. But when it comes to leadership, sort of what you were talking before about the dictatorship, I feel like I probably practice servant leadership a lot more. I practice servant leadership at SoCo, which is the real estate. And I practice servant leadership in PM Collective. And very much I do picture myself or feel that I'm a leader from the bottom, in that you just tell me what you need and I will deliver it for you. So I do that both in PM Collective and SoCo. And that's where the support comes from. The random leadership, I think, has been something that has really helped me keep long-term staff. I'm known in the industry for having a long-term team. So anywhere between sort of 7 years and 15 years average for property managers, which is great. And one of the things I would say have helped me, and I have to say, I haven't done this on purpose. It's just the way that I've done it. And I reflect back on it, I can see how it's worked. And if we were to every single year give our team a Christmas bonus, every single year, they're going to expect that. And if one year you don't do it because you can't afford it or something's changed, people are going to start getting a little bit, ticked off, because it's like, where's my bonus? I get one every year. And I think the same goes
Become
with
expected.
very much expected. And I think when we start creating expectations with our team, that's when we can start getting a little bit of conflict. And I've seen it in a lot of agencies. So where what I think works really well is things like we might, as an office, randomly buy someone a coffee, or we might just randomly say, hey, let's go out for lunch, or randomly we'll do a Christmas bonus. Randomly we, might shout everyone a voucher for a massage. All of those random things mean so much more to your staff, and they appreciate it so much more, even if it was that $5 coffee or that random walk or that random time that you're giving. I just find that doesn't set up expectations, and people appreciate those little things a lot more. And like I said, it's not something that I went and said to myself, this is how I'm going to manage my team. It's something that I just did naturally, probably because I'm a little bit scatty and I probably was, not very good at keeping things consistent. But now that I look back on it, and I can see that 100% has played a massive part in creating a really healthy long-term team.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Giving gifts means a lot more, or giving experiences or doing things means a lot more than just a bonus that they're expecting at the end of the year. And most people aren't actually money motivated. BDMs usually probably should be a little bit, and maybe entrepreneurs, but that's the mistake entrepreneurs make, is that we assume everybody else likes money as much as we do a lot of times. And so we try to bonus people or reward people or motivate people with money. And a lot of times that backfires. And because most people aren't money motivated or money driven. I know entrepreneurs listening right now are like, what? That makes no sense. I don't understand it. But yeah.
I think a lot of businesses as well, they try to manage their team by textbook. And, the textbook says we should give people their birthdays off, or a textbook says we should do a bonus at Christmas, or whatever it might be. But I think, really getting to know each person, and I know who in my team values me, sitting down and talking to them and asking them how their weekend was. However, if I went and did that to someone else in the team, they'd be like, you just go away. I'm trying to work here. And I know what each person needs to be happy. One thing that I've found more recently is that if your team can have a hobby, that is probably the biggest thing to create a happy team, and hobbies prevent burnout. And I think that when we get a lot of people in the industry where all they do is work and family, they don't have anything in between. And so like one of my girls, she loves to play golf. She's a really young girl, 21 years old, plays golf semi-professionally. And she had asked whether she can start having some private coaching on Tuesday afternoons. So she was going to come in a few hours early. And I was like, absolutely, no problems at all. Because if I give her that Tuesday afternoon off to go play golf, there's something else that she loves. And I just find that, people have to have other things they love just besides the work and family. And that's something that I feel like I really try to encourage with everyone in industry is find a hobby if you're feeling stressed. And a hobby's not, reading a book or something like that. It's actually like playing pickleball or netball or coaching a team, or it's something specific.
Got it. Okay. So you're encouraging team members to have hobbies, and
100%.
that allows them to maybe have a little bit more to bring to the table in terms of energy and life, it sounds
Yeah.
like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. It just allows them to enjoy work. And like I said before, you've got to have them. They need to have a happy home life for them to perform well for your clients. It's really, really important. You can't have them having a tough personal life at all. It's going to affect you and your clients.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah. There's a really good book called Giftology by John Ruhlin, and he talks about the benefit of giving gifts, gift giving to basically for almost as marketing or to increase referrals or to increase retention. But the same thing applies to team members. Doing these random things sounds like a really solid idea. And then also encouraging hobbies, I think, could be really beneficial. So so explain your vision for a more human and less transactional industry.
So in Australia, we have starting to become quite reliant on our offshore staff, and our offshore team. And I'm assuming that that's everywhere. Would that be the same
Yeah.
with your businesses?
Yeah, I would say so. There's a lot of people that are hiring VAs in the Philippines or Mexico for sure.
Yeah. I mean, and whether it's part of your business plan or not, I fully respect that. But what we've found in businesses is that by passing on the transactional work to our offshore team, and transactional, I mean collecting the rent,
Mhm.
arranging maintenance, sending out inspection letters, all of that sort of admin tasks, we're finding that that's really not where the value of a property manager or business owner is anymore. And so what we need to do is to move our skill set into more of a consulting role. We currently have been doing for a couple of years, and I teach this a lot to other officers, is what we call an annual investor audit. So our annual investor audits, they are 30-minute consults with every client, and we are diving straight into all the holistic side of their property, because we need to make sure as a business that our clients are emotionally well and financially well. If they're emotionally and financially well, they're going to
Yeah.
keep their investment property. The minute that they're stressed and not making money is the minute that they sell. And obviously, that's not what we want in the businesses. So to do that, by checking in with them, we talking to them about any red flags we see with their tenancy, with their rent or their inspections. We're talking them through and helping them understand what level of maintenance is considered normal or excessive in their property. If they're not spending enough maintenance, we're talking to them about ideas they've got for future renovations. We're talking to them about what their mortgage rate's doing. How are they feeling? Are they positively geared or negatively geared? Is there any circumstance that's coming up in the next 12 months that we should make a note of that might cause them a little bit of stress? We are talking about all of those things on a real conversational level, and it allows us to pick up trends of what that client's plans are. Are they planning on building a portfolio? Are they planning on selling in 6 months? Are we going as an office to see a huge wave of clients starting to sell? Is that something we need to protect that, as an asset in our business? And so when we start getting into that consultancy role, it's no different to your accountant organizing a tax planning meeting, in April, for example. That's exactly what we're doing. And we are planting seeds for that client so that they're never surprised when we call them up to say, hey, your rent's gone backwards, or you've got to spend $10,000 on the property. And that has been incredible. It's not only been something that's helped our churn rate. So generally in Australia, churn rate and loss rate for businesses can range anywhere between sort of 15 and 30%. Our
Yeah.
office is sitting at about 5%. So for a large office with, we've got 1,200 doors, to have that sort of 5% churn rate is actually considered really great. And I do put that down to the annual investor audits. And in addition, though, it allows the business owner to take control of their asset and not to maintain that relationship. Because at the end of the day, I'm very passionate about that client is my client as the business owner, and I need to keep that relationship up. And if I put all of that responsibility onto the property manager and my property manager leaves, I've got a risk that client is going to follow the property manager. So that's a little bit of the importance and responsibility I take as a business owner. So they have been an incredible game changer for retention, but it's also helped uncover new business opportunities, because when we've done these for our clients, we've never sort of asked them, do you have any properties? But so many clients have actually said to us, that was so good. Can you do it for my other property? And I'm like, sure, where's your other property? And got the address, and we've subsequently got the business because the other agencies weren't doing it. So obviously over time, more offices will start doing it, but that's just a great example of elevating the human side of property management. And we started introducing these in our business, like I said, a couple of years ago. I now teach them to other agencies around Australia. And then as soon as we can get, a really good percentage of businesses all bringing these in as just a natural part of the business, then that's how we see the industry elevate. And then that's just going to be considered a normal thing, like checking rent arrears. And so that's really my vision to bring in things like that. I've been trialing. I do a lot of like mirroring in the business. So I trial things in my business first, and if it works, I will put it out to the industry. The other trial that I did which actually didn't work, and it was about, I had a junior property manager, and we had a lot of clients that we were losing from fees, from owners being fee driven. And I thought to myself, a little bit like a hairdresser. You've got a junior apprentice to cut your hair, you've got a senior stylist, or you've got the director. And I thought to myself, I'm actually going to do a fee schedule with a junior rate. So if you're fee driven and you want a junior to look after your property with less than 1 year experience, this is the fee. And if you want a senior, this is the fee. Now, I thought that everybody would jump at the junior fee schedule because everyone seemed to be fee driven. What was so interesting is I did this trial for 12 months, and I probably had 3%, maybe 2% of clients actually say, I'll go with the junior fee schedule. Every single person said, thanks, but I think I'll stick with a senior. And I think that that's a great example to showcase that investors do want the experience. They want the peace of mind. And we all thought they wanted cheap fee schedules, but when given the opportunity for the cheap fee schedule with a junior, they didn't take. So I thought that was
I could talk about that for an hour.
Yeah,
We
I know.
tested a lot of stuff on pricing.
But it was just a great test to do. I trialed it. It didn't work. So I've gone to the industry and I've said, given it a go, it hasn't worked. I'm now trialing a second option with fee schedules, and hopefully that works, because I just feel like the industry needs to move just from the same fee schedules we've been doing for 20 years. There's something that needs to be done there. So that's my next mission.
Yeah, I love it. I love the experimentation. So the cool thing about my position is I get hundreds of guinea pigs. And so I do all sorts of testing. And so we could chat about some of that. We've done some fun stuff. But I love the idea of the annual investor audit. We coach clients on that as well. We call those annual portfolio reviews. And that's a great opportunity to get more referrals, great opportunity to get more reviews and testimonials. It's a great opportunity to create more connection with the client and to showcase what's invisible to them currently, that you're actually doing work. And it's going to significantly decrease churn. You mentioned churn maybe on a lot of companies, maybe being between 15 to 30%. And if you're at 1,200 units, I was doing math while you were talking, that would be between 180 to 360 units being lost each year. And so a lot of property managers don't pay attention to what's leaving, and they think, well, it's infrequent, or they're selling their properties or whatever, and they're not paying attention to that. But they're so focused on, how do I get more doors? And sometimes they're losing more doors than they're adding each year, or they're just breaking even. And so they've been at the same spot for like a decade sometimes. And they're wondering, why does this feel like a grind? And they're not making progress. And sometimes you have to look at what you're losing, and what's your level of service that you have there, and how visible is what you're doing to your client. Because if it's not visible, they're going to assume, well, why do I even pay them? They're not doing anything. They're just collecting rent. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I call it we've got a client success manager, and I think that that's
Mhm.
a real missing part in a lot of businesses because we've got the BDM who brings in new business, we've got the property
Yes.
manager who maintains it, but the client success manager actually is what I call a BDM in reverse, because if
Yeah.
they can improve your retention, that is growth. So therefore, it is still a BDM role that you've got someone specifically for. So that's a real big missing part in I think a lot of businesses when they don't have somebody specifically on that role.
Yeah. I've been privy to see inside of a lot of different types of businesses and being in a lot of different masterminds. And one of the things that I've seen is that some of the most sales oriented organizations, like companies that they're focused on placing salespeople and hiring salespeople and stuff like this, they always have their best salespeople graduate to be on their client success team, is how they kind of position it. And they call that their second sales team, because these are the people that get people to re-up or renew or continue on or to bump up into a higher level program. So client success is your other sales team. Their whole job is to decrease churn. Their whole job is to increase retention. At DoorGrow, our client success manager is my oldest daughter, and she does our client success, and she's got the personality for it. She's much more of a feeler than I am. She's much more about community than myself, right? I'm more of a logical thinker in a lot of instances. And so clients just love her. She does a great job. And so everybody should have client success. What's funny is, in the property management industry, you hear the phrase property manager, but that's like this mystery sort of title that means a different thing to everybody you ask. And so for some of them, some people think their property manager is supposed to be a BDM also. I'm like, those are probably different personality types. Some think they're the maintenance coordinator, but then they'll hire a maintenance coordinator and they call somebody else a property manager. And so property managers also could be those client success people, the relationship builder. And so that's where it gets confusing, is when I hired a property manager. Well, okay, what are you having them do? I always have to ask, because it's always different. So I don't know if you've noticed that in Australia, but
Yeah, and I think as well, like I like what you mentioned before about how a lot of people don't actually see what we do, and
yeah,
I
it's
think that that's
invisible.
where you've got the opportunity. Because I remember a long time ago, a client said to me, wanting to negotiate on fees after a couple of years, and he said, your job's easy. You don't have to do anything for your money, so therefore you should reduce your fees. And I'm like, hold on a second, we've chosen a fantastic, perfect tenant. We do a lot in the background to make it look like we are, and managing it nice and easily and not creating any stress for you. Do you want me to create a problem tenant so it looks like that I'm doing work so that you can justify the fee? Because the fee is so, is reflective on you making it look like that we're having a very easy life. But that's
Yeah.
taken a lot of skill and experience to do that. It's just so backwards, isn't it? That the way that they validate our fee if we have got lots of problems and they think we're not worth our fee when we've got nothing to do and got a perfect tenant, which was the result of us putting it in the first place.
Yeah, I used to work in IT, and one of the things I learned in doing IT and working on computers and networks is that if you make everything run perfectly, they wonder why they even pay you at all. And then I also noticed, if there was a problem, they're like, why do we pay this person at all? There's now this problem with the network. And so either way, I couldn't win. So I learned I had to make the invisible visible. I had to tell them all the time, hey, I just updated this server. I just changed this. This has been improved. That's preventing these problems. And they're like, wow, Jason's on top of this. Jason's making everything run smooth. So I had to learn to be noisy. I worked at Hewlett Packard, and I was in Boise, Idaho, and I had a boss in Texas. And he would just look at he would message us all throughout the day through an instant message app or whatever. He would message us, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I was like, he can't see what we're doing. So I just started changing my status. It allowed you to put a little status. They use some Microsoft app. I can't remember Teams. I don't remember what it was, but I just would update it every day. And I would say like throughout the day, what I was working on in that moment, updating this, working on this, doing this, and just what I was doing. And so then he started asking, what's your coworker doing? Because we were a 2-person team that were over a big system. And he was like, what's Josh doing? Is he working? What's he? So he started to perceive that I was on top of things and working, and this other person was lazy and not doing stuff. And I'm like, no, he's working too. So yeah, but we've translated that to helping clients make sure you're showcasing the invisible because they can't see it otherwise. You have to be noisy. And those annual reviews are a great opportunity to do that because you can say, here's how many maintenance requests we've handled that you didn't have to deal with. Here's how much money has been collected. Here's the payouts that we've done to you. Here's all the stuff that we've been taking care of that's, prevented you from having to deal with this. Here's how many calls we took. Here's how many tickets we handled. Like all these vanity metrics justify why they spend the money with you. So I love that you're reinforcing that idea. So for my clients listening, she said, and she's got 1,200 doors, which is probably more than some of you. So Ashleigh, what do you feel like people are hearing your low churn rate? Besides the annual investor audits that you do and maybe having a client success manager, and what do you feel like has really significantly reduced the churn rate down to 5%? I mean, that's significant in any business.
Yeah, it would. You've got your audits. It would probably be, I think myself being a director of the business who is 100% active in property management and approachable is a really important word. Clients know that they can call me at any time. They know that if one of my property managers is on leave, they can call me to handle anything. That plays a massive part. And if I reflect on some of my clients, because we all get clients that, maybe aren't happy with something or a little hiccup has happened, to know that my clients don't just silently leave and say, that happened, not happy, I'm going to go find someone else. They always contact me first. I actually had one the other day to say, Ash, my property manager is really lovely, but I'm just feeling like I need someone with a bit more confidence. No problems at all. Let me move you to this person. The fact that they approach me first and give
Yeah.
me the opportunity and know that they can call me to move them, I just take that with so much privilege because that doesn't happen in a lot of offices. If you're not approachable and your client would rather just leave the property than bother coming to you because they don't think they're going to get hurt, that's going to be a problem. So for me, that is massive. And then probably the final thing, I think that our values really show through social media and my presence on social media. The fact that they know me on a personal level, they can see that I've got kids, they can see that I've done podcasts, they can see when I win awards, and embracing our clients on our journey and allowing them to see every part of me as a human being, I think is great. We do an annual drive for a not-for-profit. We support DB survivors quite a lot in our business, and we promote philanthropic investing. And so the fact that we bring in our clients to be involved in that process by buying their tenants a hamper for Christmas to strengthen relationships has been a fantastic PR exercise with clients saying, yes, please organize my tenant a Christmas hamper. And we're just so thankful to be aligned with a business like yours that supports, good causes. It's those little things that have probably played the biggest part in it,
Love it.
in their retention and client success.
Yeah, I love that. A lot of property managers are so focused and business owners are so focused on thinking, how do I get more money? How do I take more? Instead of like the benefit of being involved and how much trust it would create to be involved in some sort of philanthropy or charity or something that's a bit more outward focused. And one of the things we are really big on at DoorGrow is coaching our clients on in building out their client-centric mission statement is figuring out how do you make this vision bigger so that you're having a positive impact, not just for yourself, for the business, for your team, but maybe the community at large, maybe the industry at large. And what sort of impact and change do you want to see there, and making that vision bigger, because it allows you to attract team members that are inspired by a bigger vision, allows you to attract clients that are resonate and are inspired by a bigger vision. And so you get better people all around.
And it gives other people the opportunity to do good. And with our annual
Mm,
hamper
yeah.
drive, we did that last year. And all we did, we aligned ourselves with a not-for-profit hamper company, which is sort of like a byproduct of one of the charities. And they support women getting back into the workforce. And so not-for-profit, we emailed all our clients and we said to our landlords, listen, if you've had a great year with your tenant, we would love to arrange a hamper on your behalf. It's $88, and we'll take it from your rental income and we'll send it on behalf of you for Christmas. It's a great way to acknowledge you've had a great experience with your tenant and strengthen that relationship. And from that alone, just us doing one drive last year raised 14,287. And so this year we have now, through PM Collective, promoted that through other agencies to do the same. And I actually had an email from the CEO of the not-for-profit today, and she said, Ash, I am just so excited to get these numbers back to you. We have had such a huge response from you ambassading against it. And I just can't wait to see what the figure will be, because I know as an agency, we will do probably double. And the fact that other agencies now will do good, it's just an example of the impact that we didn't realize we were having by giving our landlords the opportunity to do good, but then sharing that with other people to give them the opportunity for their clients to do good. It's just so wonderful on so many levels. And it's the same with our
Love it.
philanthropic investing. We encourage owners who financially are able to rent out their home at a low market rate to a survivor of DV to do it. And you'll be surprised at how many people don't even know it's an option. It's not saying that it's right for every landlord, but there are so many landlords out there who have a vacant property and didn't even know that they could do this, jump on board. So yeah, giving those opportunities to people that didn't know that it was an option, I think is really great to see.
Yeah, love it. I mean, people want to feel good about themselves, and, being able to give gifts or being able to benefit others makes people feel good about themselves. And if you're giving your clients a chance to feel good about themselves, they're going to associate that with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So, well, cool. I love all these different ideas and tips I think you've shared. I love the idea of doing the annual portfolio reviews. I love the idea of, the charitable stuff, the philanthropy stuff. Love the idea of giving people a vehicle or some method to bypass the frontline staff person that they're assigned, so that they can reach somebody that can, maybe, if they want to complain about that team member, or there's a gateway there or a vehicle there for them to do that, rather than them just going, well, I guess I have to quit. I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah. So I love these ideas. So that I think anybody listening to this would benefit and decrease churn. Well, Ashleigh, I appreciate you coming here on the show. How can people maybe get in touch with you or with your business, or whatever you would like to share with others here in
Yeah.
closing?
Well, I mean, I'm very easy to Google. You can just Google Ashleigh Goodchild and hopefully find me there. But I am on Instagram and all the socials under PM Collective or under Ashleigh Goodchild. So I'd love to connect with anyone that finds me on those platforms.
Perfect. All right, Ashleigh. We'll probably have to have you come talk to our clients sometime. I think that'd be fun.
Love
So,
them.
all right. Thank you, Ashleigh. Appreciate you coming here on the show. All right.
Thanks for
So,
having me.
for those that are struggling in your property management business and you want to kind of get to that next level, make sure you reach out to us at doorgrow.com. We would love to facilitate or help you, or see if we could help you with your business. If you felt stagnant for a while, also join our free Facebook community just for property management business owners at doorgrowclub.com. And if you would like to get the best ideas in property management, join our free newsletter at doorgrow.com/subscribe. And if you found this even a little bit helpful, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. We'd really appreciate it. And until next time, remember, the slowest path to growth is to do it alone. So let's